many times in training and diet, we trainers, people who lift, coaches, those in the research profession talk a lot about optimal. Everything is optimal. This is what your diet should look like optimally if you want to fuel performance. This is what your training should look like optimally. A lot of times what's lost is practical. Okay, and I always think of this balance between the two, optimal versus practical. And it's more of a continuum sometimes. So what can be incredibly optimal may not be practical at all, and what may be practical may not be optimal at all. So it may be practical for you to stop by and pick up some fast food on the way home. That's a little more practical, but it's not optimal for your health nor your recovery or your performance. On the other side, eating 6 meals a day may be optimal performance, but the ability for you to do that is just not practical. So when you're looking at diet and training, that's one of the things to keep in mind. And the reason I bring this up is like, well, of course, that seems kind of silly. It's pretty intuitive. Many people fall into, and many, I don't know what the percentage is. I don't want to use words that aren't precise, but I'll just say people tend to, look at the optimal a lot of times and where they are and see the gap between, what is practical and what is optimal and can't close it. And so they just give up. It's a continuum. If you eat 2 servings of vegetables and you haven't been eating any, you have slid a little bit closer to optimal, and that was practical. If I say eat 8 servings of vegetables a day, that may not be practical for you anymore, and so you just throw your hands up in there and say, I'm not going to bother. Those 2 servings of vegetables could extend your life. And we have research literature to say that that's true if you consistently ate them. Same with training. If you can only get to the gym once this week or twice in a week at all to lift, that's it. That's still closer to optimal than doing nothing. Okay? It can maintain your muscle mass that you have. If you had a well-devised program twice a week, you can maintain your strength easily. Okay? So don't fall into this trap of optimal versus practical. In terms of the gap's too big, I give up. The give up zone in between. Instead, just think, where can I be? And it may go from day to day. Yesterday, I had to be really practical. It is what it is. Today, I'm going to ram it over to being optical because I have a day off and the kids aren't here because they're at camp or whatever. I can be really optimal today. That was an optimal day then. You lost some weight perhaps if that's your goal. Your training was a lot better that day. You got a little stronger. And then back to maybe sliding back towards practical again. It's this constant back and forth. Over time, if you can start all the way over here practical and keep moving yourself closer to optimal as you go, you may only get this far. Here's pure optical. You may only get this far. But look how much distance you traveled in that time that you worked on getting to that optimal place. Okay, and I know I'm not providing any numbers or macros right now or anything else, but many times what we do is not about those things in the long run. It's about our mindset and how we approach our training, weight loss, sports performance. This is optimal sports performance. This is, I got a class every day or I work every day and this is it. That's why you see the highest level athletes, they can scoot all the way over here to optimal. They can hit that because they make millions of dollars a year. They make enough money that they don't have to work another job. And so they just hug on optimal every day. So you look at them and you're like, why can't I be like them? Because they don't have to worry about the gap between practical and optimal. They've removed this idea of practical and made it optimal. Okay. For the rest of us, we have to find where we can fall. Just stay out of the perfectionism trap where I feel like you have to be optimal or you get nothing. And that's completely false. Work with what you have. Understand what optimal is and pursue it, but also be realistic where you are and where you're starting and what you can handle. And maybe, again, that changes if you move, if something happens in your life to cause a lot of upheaval, or it improves. That could change how close you get to optimal during that time. I think that will help your mindset and not get discouraged and frustrated when things don't go your way, but also take advantage of the times that are good as well.